My secret, just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
Welcome to This Filipino American Life, a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at Iba Pa. My name is Elaine Delalas, and I am joined by my fellow hosts,
Ryan Carpio,
Joe Bernardo,
and
Mike. Hi.
Producer Mike. Yeah. And on this episode, we have two special guests.
Carrido-Bonds.
And
It's Gerlie.
it's Joe's boss.
Yeah.
Si Bossing.
And Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yes, one way or another, this will come out around New Year's.
In January, right? 10, 9, 8. I mean, just kidding. Happy New Year.
Sometime in 2019.
2019, everybody. Wow.
Wow.
It's the future.
It's the future.
Remember 2018? Yeah.
Barely. No.
Dumpster fire.
2018.
Feels like it was just today.
Hey, Joe, do we have any voicemails?
Yes. We have a couple voicemails, which I will play right now.
Hi, I have a problem with my TFAL GH1810850 active fryer, and I'd like to return it. Because when I put oil in it, it just didn't heat up, and I don't know why, even though it's a fryer. I'm messing. So TFAL, what's up? I love you guys. My name is John Ray Diamante. I'm from Canada, and even though I'm not American, I love your podcast. Today I just listened to the folklore podcast, The Filipino and the Drunkard, and the Bucket List 2.0, man. And I love that. Like, I did a poll on Instagram saying if people would love raisins on their meat dish. But I got so many Filipino friends of mine. I got like nothing, man. I got like 22% said yes and 78% said no.
That's right.
And I'm like, why? It's like, yo, raisins on meat dishes are so good. But also, I would like to. I remember I was watching the Ulan movie because I went to one of their screenings, and they were talking about crab mentality, and I have not really seen that here in Canada. And then maybe that's the topic that you guys should talk about, crab mentality, how Filipinos are taking other Filipinos down because of their success. Thank you. And also, this goes out to producer Mike.
Shout out.
Mike, we just got air horned
He got
by the caller.
Nice.
That was cool.
That was nice.
He was ready with the air horn and everything.
See, Mike?
No.
People
props.
love the air horns.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, great.
Canada, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Canada.
And
Canada doesn't have
Producer
crab
Mike.
mentality. I love
It's
them
lobster.
more encouraged.
They have lobster mentality.
What's lobster?
I don't know, man. It sounds delicious.
Crab mentality.
Crustacean.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
No, I think, I think crab mentality, everybody has it. I think it's more apparent when you're in a competitive atmosphere. Maybe Canada is not as competitive as the U.S. probably.
Oh, Canada.
No, I think they are.
But I
Makes me
think
want to live there even more.
I know,
But they do it through love. They compete through love.
I bet hockey
More
players
love.
have crab mentality. Because they're competitive.
Yeah, I would agree.
Ryan always tries to pull me down all the time.
What?
Yeah,
Joe got grubs.
grubs.
Oh my
But yeah, but I don't think Filipinos are just they're the only ones who have crab mentality. I
We
think
just call it
everyone does.
that
Yeah,
because
We like
we like crab.
It's delicious.
with vinegar and garlic.
Yeah.
Well,
And rice.
did we already explain what crab mentality is? A lot of people actually don't know what
Really?
it stands for. Yeah.
Okay, explain it.
You explain it.
You explain. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
So it's actually when
You're
crabs
not-
are in a pot or a
Yeah.
barrel, And when one crab tries to
No, Joe, it's actually what I'm just kidding. I'm just doing an example of what crab mentality is by interrupting you
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a very good
and trying to
demonstration
dominate
of it.
my power over the situation.
I was like, what is she saying right now?
It's like, wait, it's not a pot or a barrel?
That's so crabby of you, Elaine.
I'm just having crab
My
mentality.
version is
So anyways, the way I understand it is if there's a bunch of crabs in a pot or in a barrel or something, one of them tries to get out, but other crabs are trying to pull them down.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a metaphor for other Filipinos, apparently. But we could talk about it a different time.
Filipinos, though.
Yeah. But we could talk about it a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to our second voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Chris G from San Jose, California. Thanks for taking my message before, and sorry I wasn't clear. On that day, I went to MC my niece's debut, and my question specifically is, how have you noticed how debuts differ from both in the United States versus in the Philippines? And have you ever experienced a debut for a Filipino gentleman? I know it's not uncommon, but given the year that it is, do guys still celebrate it? Is it still something to look forward to? And sort of an extended question, and given the broader era that we live in, do you see any markers for male rite of passage? Women sort of have a biological one that we can point to, and some other markers that are maybe not as popular, like, are you married yet? But do you see something that's Filipino American specific for men? So hope you guys are having a great day, enjoying lots of coffee, and I'll hear you guys soon. Thanks a bunch. Bye.
Nice.
Thanks, Chris G, for calling us
Chris
back.
G, how's your brother Warren? Or si Kenny.
Kenny Ward.
Si Tito Kenny.
We're all dying.
don't mind him. Don't.
Oh my god, that was good. That was so good. So Chris G was saying, talking about the debuts, and if we've seen a difference between debuts here in America or in the Philippines.
Yeah. Here they call it debut. In the Philippines, it's debut.
Oh my god.
Difference number one. Oh man.
And then also ask the question if there are guys who have, or boys who have debuts, and if we'd ever been to one. And
wait, hold on. Let's answer first the first one.
question. Yeah.
So who here has attended a debut in the Philippines?
Me.
Really?
Oh, you have?
Hell.
Do you see any differences?
I mean, it wasn't like, so it basically just felt like a nicer birthday party.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of my cousins, like distant cousins, and they just had it in like the town square. And like they had like, I mean,
Well,
some of
first
them, like,
off, town square.
well, yeah.
That's quite different than ballroom,
I mean, there's not,
ballroom
like-
at the Odyssey.
There wasn't like a hotel like to rent a ballroom, and there wasn't like, it was my family was in the province, all right?
Yeah.
So like their main place of congregation is either like the town square,
The plaza.
the plaza, you know, which is basically also a basketball court. But, like,
right.
Yes. In fact, I had a coronation. in
oh,
basketball court
so did
of
my mom actually
town.
too. So
Really?
no, seriously, I mean that's
Separate story.
it's
Separate
yeah.
story.
So other than setting environment, is there any difference? Are there any
Sweaty.
differences?
I mean, they might. I don't know if it was like a sample size of one is representative of like how they're all done in the Philippines. It was just like
Sure.
they had like the food and like some people dressed up in like Filipiniana style stuff.
Yeah, but did they do
there was like
all
a dance
of
with
the,
like
there a
they did the
cotillion?
dance,
But there wasn't like a whole
like all the different
cotillion.
elements?
There
They
wasn't.
didn't- I mean, the one that I went to didn't have.
Didn't have a
Oh,
cotillion.
But
so
I'm
they
sure
didn't
it's
have
there.
Like a whole like party.
No,
Were
yeah,
there
yeah.
candles?
Oh.
I mean,
Roses.
Were
so
there
the things that I'm used to
roses?
seeing like in an American debut, I guess, or whatever. Like I didn't see a lot, like all of those things.
So no crying.
I love you.
No one's singing "Wonderful" tonight.
We've known each other
You were wonderful.
so long. All high school we've known each other. You're the best.
Ryan, is that something you've seen from experience?
No.
Yeah, how many debuts have you starred in, Ryan?
I don't know, man. Whatever.
How many debuts have you sang at?
I don't know, man.
How many debuts have you emceed?
Oh, none.
Ryan is available to be your debut MC. Just call us 805
Oh my God, hire us to be
TFAL.
debut like
Wait,
hosts.
was there a mass as part of the?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like, because
Oh, we
also
don't
like
always
the
have
main church was like basically across the street.
Yeah.
So like they did a thing there, and then the after party was basically the debut.
in the place. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of urban areas they have. It's more of a. It kind of mimics the ones we have here.
In the States.
Probably.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
States,
Probably.
with the ballroom
Yeah.
and 18 Roses,
Yeah.
cotillion. It's definitely like a class thing.
Hold up.
Yeah.
But
Is there a difference between cotillion and debut?
A cotillion is a part of the debut. A cotillion is the
Oh,
dance
it's an element.
function.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because I thought that I referred to debuts as cotillions.
I mean,
thought they were
there
interchangeable.
are people who interchange it, but cotillion, like when I was a part of them, cotillion was like a element on. It was like a part of the program.
So what is it?
It's the dance part.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, got it.
We
Like
could
the
talk more about
performance.
debuts. But male debuts.
So the male
Yes.
debut,
Please do tell.
Mike gave me a look because we kind of sort of went to one.
Kind of,
What
sort
do
of.
you mean, kind of,
I've
sort
never
of?
actually heard of one.
So when my cousin turned 16, my aunt threw him a birthday party at this restaurant that is no longer in existence called Starlight. It was in like West Hills, like off Fallbrook.
Hey, wait, we've been there.
Stargazer.
Stargazer. Oh, there you go.
Stargazer.
Stargazer.
For those who don't know, it's kind of a cheesy
Filipino
banquet /
hall
restaurant.
that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And I knew it was my cousin's birthday party. He had turned 16, and Mike went with me to this party. Right? You were there.
Yeah. I was like,
And
birthday party?
and I didn't know. I just thought it was just gonna be a regular party, but it ended up feeling like a debut.
I mean, there was a whole program.
There was a program.
Was the singers?
I feel like they were singing. I can't remember if there was a formal type cotillion, but they made him like. I swear they made him dance with my aunt. Stop laughing.
Their son dance.
Yes.
Were there? There was no.
nice.
There was no like 18 Roses.
No,
like,
because he was. Well, he was
like that.
16,
16 roses.
and it honestly felt like my cousin didn't want to be there, and
It
my
was for your
and my aunt really wanted the
Oh,
party.
she wanted to have the party.
It sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds like just a grand birthday party. Because
Yeah.
I think that historically the male debuts are supposed to be like 21 or something like that.
Really?
What do you
really?
do?
So, do
May
they
have
have
made that
21 roses?
I don't know.
Is it like 21
Wow.
Cool Waters or
It
something?
happened.
I think
Vegas.
21 CK1?
You're dating yourself, dude.
Right. 90s reference.
21 Aquadigios?
but I've never been to one.
But yeah.
That
But
was my experience.
the real male rite of passage is an episode that we covered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what number it is.
I don't know what number it is either, but it is circumcision.
Snip snip
Snip, snip.
snip snip.
That happens very young.
Is that meant to be the equivalent?
Oh
No.
no.
Not in the Philippines?
You haven't listened to our episode.
Cat, please
I
listen to the
haven't.
episode.
I haven't
and-
listened to that episode.
And then you're
Thank
gonna look
God,
at me
maybe.
differently. Just saying.
So in the what was it called? It's called supot?
No, that's if you're
No.
not circumcised.
Oh,
Tuli.
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 Oh, yeah.
Tuli
Wait,
or
so
not
is there a
tuli?
whole ceremony?
That is the question.
Sorry, I barely listened to that episode.
Oh my gosh, you're just wasting our time.
Was there?
I'm kidding.
There's always an opportunity.
Yes, there were 18 roses.
Anyway,
Joseph.
The boss is mad.
So, like, there's a whole ceremony that goes with that. right?
it's a process, and
okay.
because the question was like the right process.
Slap, slap, snip,
Snip, snip.
snip, snip.
Oh man.
That would be.
They rent out a ballroom.
Wow.
Invitations.
Okay, so I'm sorry. How old were you?
I was 11.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there was no process with mine. I mean, there was no debut.
There's no party. There's no
ceremony.
party.
There's no ceremony. I mean, when you think about a bris, that's a ceremony, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily. I mean,
That's
is that
bris,
considered a
baby.
Oh god.
High five. Yes.
Okay, but we could talk more about debuts and more about, or you could listen to the circumcision episode. But
I think
not.
the debut will be a future. Debuts will be a
definitely.
future episode.
definitely. But what are we talking about today?
Today we're gonna talk about a recent thing that happened in 2018. But welcome to 2019. The Miss Universe pageant.
Miss Universe.
And this episode is brought to you by our TFAL, Kathy Araneta Delphin.
Kathy.
Oh, I'm glad you
we actually know her. Shit, I was faking it. Sorry.
I went to her debut. I was part of her debut.
Oh, perfect.
Carl's sister?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Carl's sister.
We're wearing Carl's
And
hats right now?
Two people
yeah,
are
we
wearing
are.
10 Braves hat right now. Hi, Carl. Miss Universe. In this week, at the time of the recording, Miss Universe, what is her name? Oh, well, she's Miss Philippines. That's for damn sure.
Catriona Gray.
Thank you. She won Miss Universe, and it was all over Filipino Twitter, Filipino Instagram, Filipino Facebook. And I had, personally, let's do round robin about our reactions to it. Mm-hmm. My reaction was, oh my God, Miss Universe was happening. Had no idea. But the moment it was declared that she was Miss Universe, I was on a text chain with my old boss and 2 other coworkers. And my old boss is a Filipino American. He's, Miss Universe is his sport. And he sent 20 text messages about why this is such a big deal and how it's an amazing fact. And then I participated in the text chain, but then also felt bad because I was like, I don't know if I really care. I did not really. Yeah. So what about your thoughts, Ryan?
On Miss Universe?
Yeah.
I actually saw it.
You
on
did.
The last part
You were
of it.
there?
You were watching?
No, I mean, I was
You were in
watching it on
Thailand?
television.
You were competing?
And I watched the question portion of it. I thought she did well, and I thought she deserved to win. And I was stoked. It was great. I'm like, wow, Miss Philippines takes it again, and and I don't
It's
know
like
how
the 4th time, right? Isn't
Fourth
it?
time, yeah.
Gloria, what's her name?
Macabal.
Negative.
No, Gloria
Diaz.
Gloria Diaz. Gloria Diaz was the
Yeah.
first one. But yeah. And this time it wasn't a mistake. Remember the last time?
Oh, yeah.
Steve Harvey said
messed up.
Colombia, and then it was wrong. It's the Philippines.
I will just like to read the start of the text chain.
Okay.
It says Miss Universe, second runner-up Venezuela with the non-moving Botox face and the perfectly sculpted chest looked like she came straight from Wax Museum.
Wow.
So that is how serious
Yikes.
my old boss
Or
takes
not serious.
Miss
but-
Universe.
Wow.
Wow, I don't know what to say about that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was going on until I guess you started seeing her turn, her costume, just kind of like little things leading up to the actual final decision. And then when they announced it, like maybe a few minutes later, I just saw social media just blow up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually I don't really pay attention to these things. So
Yeah.
Mike,
he was in front row. He was
did your mom text you immediately?
I was surprised that she didn't. I mean, I remember with I forgot what year it was when it was in the Philippines last time, maybe.
I don't remember.
And they had the whole intro where it was saying Mabuhay, and they
Isn't that when Steve Harvey got it wrong?
No.
This is way before.
Oh,
I mean, my
sorry.
parents used to tape these things, so
Explain why.
oh, because I guess my mom's the provincial equivalent of a beauty queen.
There you go.
So having won the Miss Miago, anyways. So I mean, definitely when those things would be on, it would always be on TV. That's the only reason I even knew, if there was a beauty pageant happening, because my mom would be it'd be appointment TV for her, right? She'd be oh my God, we gotta tape this and all this other stuff. So not being around my mom, I'm not gonna know about it. So I was surprised she didn't text me right away, but I was just I didn't. It's not even on my radar as a regular thing. But I know back home, I'm pretty sure my mom and all the other aunties were crowded around the TV or something,
Wow.
just waiting for the results, fully expecting Miss Philippines to win as they do every year. So, expecting them to win,
Same. I didn't even know it was happening until Joe was like, oh, Philippines won Miss Universe. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Moving on.
Cat.
It was the same thing.
Yeah.
When I saw it on social media is when I even realized that Miss Universe actually still goes on.
If you guys knew that it was on, would you watch it?
No.
Would you have watched it?
Not really.
No.
Why not?
No.
¿Por qué no?
It ain't my thing.
Okay, so
Not my
my
thing.
issue.
Supports patriarchy.
Well, that and like, okay, so this is gonna like take it back. But when I was a kid, I was my parents did not encourage me to do beauty pageants, but I was some uncles tried to persuade my parents to tell me to do that. And I had a friend in elementary school who was a Miss Teen pageant like competitor. So I knew of the world and I just knew of it. And so I used to always think like, this is boring. And also, who wants to wear like that stupid, like to do that on your weekends? Because I'm lazy and I like to watch TV all day. So I knew of it. And like my mom, like Miss Universe is like, my mom is in that category of Filipino where her sport is Miss Universe, gymnastics, and ice skating, figure skating.
I mean, oh my God. I guess that's me, but except for the first one. I watch those other things.
So like I grew up watching these things and I just always used to be like utterly bored.
And we talked about it in the Hometown Association episode, right? The mini,
A little bit,
about like just the pageantry kind of being built into like almost all kinds of celebration. I mean, on the point of debuts, also like kind of the pageantry, and you know what I mean. So like it's just like such an ingrained part of like our versions of celebrations.
Yeah,
I guess it shouldn't be surprising.
And truth be told, like a part of me never wanted to participate because I am on the darker persuasion of the Filipino, and I used to get a lot of flack from my family, and most of the time beauty pageant people are on the lighter skin side. And so I always felt like the space was not for me because I was not, well, I'm not saying that I am really, really dark, but there were times where I have been extra dark. But because right now I'm a cappuccino cream, I'm not like like black coffee right now.
I agree. I mean so, you know, when I was younger, my skin was a little darker just because I just loved playing outside so often. And I would always get reprimanded for doing that. And my mom has like porcelain toned skin. And she always tried to get me into pageantry too. And I'm just like, what? The world, I just didn't even understand it. And I did relate these images of beauty that, you know, are most commonly seen in pageantry to not relate to me. And I was not interested in it whatsoever.
Would you watch it?
Would I?
Ryan?
I actually don't have a TV or, you know, but I was at my parents' house and they were watching it. Or
So
my
they
dad was
were.
watching
So it
it.
was just on.
So it was on. It was definitely something. Am I interested in it? Not really. But did I watch it? Yeah. Am I happy that we won or she won? Yeah. And I also feel like
you said that we won, and I think a lot. That's another
I mean, that's
element.
what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
about,
like
right?
Filipinos, I think appreciate the wins.
Yeah.
Because it feels like we all collectively won when we see one of our own. But is she one of our own is also the question. She's Filipino-Australian.
Of course.
She moved to the Philippines to participate in that like whatever.
Well, what's one of our own?
Yeah, I mean, but you think about the diaspora and just the historically the different ethnicities and countries that have impacted the Philippines. Like, for me, that's not even a question. Like, it doesn't. She has Filipino heritage, and she wants to claim that. Then all good for her. But again, like I just feel like the whole system of pageantry represents a very limited view of what beauty is that I don't think everyone relates to.
But, you know, when we see videos of all these Filipinos like getting excited and celebrating the fact that Miss Universe won, and it's, you know, pageantry and beauty pageants are just so ingrained within Filipino culture. Is this something that is reversible? Like we all know that pageants are problematic. But my question to you is, can we move forward, or can we do we have to celebrate these things just because it's a Filipino one, even though the platform that they won on is certainly problematic and anti-feminist, etc.
Well, I feel like we talked about this in another episode, I forgot which one it was, but we were talking about just like our tendency just to like latch on and celebrate kind of like
Representation.
when we're visible.
Any kind of
Because the representation episode where we're just like anytime we kind of show up in a space that's much broader than kind of like, you know, our current limited spaces, like, you know, we all kind of jump on that and kind of there's this idea. It's like, well, there's our representative to the world of like how, you know, great we are and how like exceptional we are. You know, so like whether it's in sports or whether it's in like kind of like, you know, dance shows and everything else, it's like, you know, the interest level tends to like kind of be commensurate with the amount of exposure theoretically it kind of gives us as a culture, quote unquote. So I mean, I think like, I mean, pageantry and like beauty pageants and everything else. I mean, yes, that's like something that's ingrained in our culture. Whether or not we as Filipino Americans even like I'd connect with that on some level is a whole different thing. And I mean, to the point of like reversing or pulling that over our own kind of experience and our own identity. I feel like we kind of don't really ingrain in our identity as much. But that being said, if a Filipino wins anything, we're always going to kind of be like excited, I think. So, I mean, that's at least from the folks that I know that like knew about it. It was less about like, I watch beauty pageants all the time or even care about beauty pageants. It was more like, oh, a Filipino person is up front, unlike this world stage. You know?
I mean, we've talked about it. Elaine has talked about it as a sport, right? Like, this is their sport or this is my boss's sport. And I actually don't find a lot of, maybe there are some, of course, differences in that, but the consumption of this is much like that. The consumption of like a pageant or a competition is much like a sport. So I can guarantee you there's a ton of people who don't like boxing or won't even watch boxing, but because it's Manny Pacquiao,
That's me.
They have attended 10 parties all of a sudden with Manny Pacquiao and we all become experts. Every 4 years I become an expert in gymnastics.
Same.
Because I think I know what a 9.2 vault is versus a 9.6 vault. And it's just the way we consume sport in general or entertainment for that matter. And you can nitpick the problematic platforms of sport as well. You know. But in this particular case, I think you're right, Mike. You know, we are kind of thirsting for representation in the world stage. And for, you know, whatever the iteration of Miss Universe is now versus something that's going to happen years from now, whatever that moving forward is, I actually don't know what that looks like.
But I mean, if we're trying to kind of quote unquote be on a certain stage, what exactly are we presenting? We're presenting somebody who has a certain figure, someone who is tall, someone who's light skinned, someone who speaks English. And if they didn't speak English, they would be kind of
at a disadvantage.
Disadvantage in the Philippines. Like they would say, oh, she can't speak English.
Right.
So that's where kind of where it's problematized, right?
Yeah.
So if whoever is the beauty pageant is supposed to represent nation, represent Filipinos, and that is supposed to be the quote unquote idealized
model,
feminine beauty, right? Model, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes certainly problematic. And not to say that like we can't, that everyone's kind of just brainwashed to think that.
Right.
I think just certain larger structures are in place where those are the things that have to be kind of represented. And it just, that's where the conundrum happens.
Right.
Yeah.
My brother and I were actually talking about like the translators and how if you're answering the questions in a pageant and if you don't speak English and you're relying on your translator to answer the question for you, it doesn't, it gets just lost.
It
so
does.
the whole thing isn't really conducive to your answers anyway.
Right.
So it's more about like your physical beauty and your physical appearance and all that. So
you know what's interesting to me is that like you talked about a little bit, Elaine, that Catriona Gray is from Australia. She is half Pinay, half white. I think her mom's from Bicol, and she, normally like unless you normally you don't look like her. Right, and you go to the Philippines. You get.
What are you saying? Do I look like this?
And you're made fun of because like, oh, you can't speak English or you can't speak Tagalog or any kind of native language, and yet hindi ka tunay Filipino kasi you weren't born there, etc. But then all of that thing kind of goes away once you kind of represent Philippines, unless it goes away once like the Western world or white people recognize you as a Filipino. Then people are like, oh, okay, yeah, she's Filipino, like she's one of us.
Unless you're Manny Pacquiao and do interviews in Tagalog or in English.
The Clitoris Club. So yeah.
I just wish that all of the passion and fervor that goes into pageantry, like you could see that in
other things.
Exactly. You know, when it comes to, I don't know, like challenges that are happening in society, like are people rallying around things like that as passionately as they are for pageantry?
Do you think, Joe, or anybody here, do you think that moving forward is just getting rid of Miss Universe altogether, like as a thing? Or is it too big to like... Because there's been some talks about like, why does this still exist? Why does the pageant, Miss Universe pageant still exist? You know, why do we still want to see this? You know, they try to change everything from like the bathing suit competition portion of it. They've changed some parts of it.
I think Miss America, they don't have it. They don't have the bathing suit competition. I don't think anymore.
Yeah, they just do the talent instead.
I guess so. Yeah.
But I mean, is it about getting rid of it, or is it about like changing it? You know, does it?
Because allegedly, it's still like a scholarship.
So
fund.
Oh yeah.
Where I was getting at too.
That's just that part.
Well, because it gets lost, right? Nobody remembers
no one
that.
remembers
That's an afterthought.
Yeah.
And then the prize of being Miss Universe is that you get to like advocate on a cause. So like Pia Wurtzbach, her cause I think was like AIDS awareness.
Yeah.
So I only know that because she was Filipino. Like the last year's Miss Universe, I have no idea what she did, but like they do philanthropy tours under the Miss Universe umbrella, but like it's still like it's just a pageant for pretty people.
Yeah. AIDS awareness.
Yeah.
But I'm 39.
Oh my god.
I totally don't get that.
He's
but
aware
okay.
of his age.
Of his age.
Well, I think there's clearly an audience. That's why it's still around. I mean, well, I was actually looking up the ratings, and it said about 4.1 million people watched it in the United States. So that's still.
That's the U.S. though.
That's the U.S. So
around the world,
around the world, it's larger clearly, and you know, it's probably like 1 out of 3 in the Philippines or something. I don't know, but not a fact, just something that I was thinking about. So, and then, but yeah, it's all part of that patriarchal, you know, view of Western beauty that that's not going to go away anytime soon.
And it's hard too because like it's so ingrained in the Philippines. Like every celebration, every fiesta, for example, has a pageant.
Right, there's some sort of queen of something.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's a certain kind of a social as well as like economic benefit to be a queen, right? Like I'm not saying it's a ticket out of poverty, but there's certain kind of celebrity status that one would get once they become a queen. And then especially if you're in a community that is impoverished and like you are
we had
oppressed,
Gina on. Like Gina talked about that when she was a trans beauty queen, like she was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
She was making good money in the Philippines doing the pageant circuit.
Yeah.
So for many people, it's a way out of dire straits, right? But I think for other people, it's just like, I feel like it is an avenue to celebrity or stardom or something because you can transition it into other work. Because like Sofia Vergara, wasn't she a beauty queen in Venezuela? And she transitioned that into her acting career. And I think that's like a path for a career in Latin American countries. And I think the Philippines adopts the same like career path because it can lead to hosting gigs or something just based on your celebrity status.
Yeah.
And even if it isn't a way out of poverty materially, it's a salve mentally and socially and emotionally. I mean, to look at, you know, even if I can understand that there's a respite looking at beauty and, you know, whatever fantasy and things that, you can just forget about the realities of things that are a lot harder to deal with, to your point, Gerlie, about, we wish that energy could be put into more like important or serious things. But for folks that already go through hardship, it's an easy way to just kind of elevate a beauty queen,
and the structure is already in place. So.
It's so easy. Yeah.
And she represents like the standard of traditional beauty, right? Like the light skin,
traditional white beauty. Yeah.
White beauty. Like, would she have gotten that far if she was like shorter or if she was darker?
Of course not.
And so, but it's funny to me because her cultural costume, like she literally wore a parole, which I laughed at when I saw it. But
she walk around that thing, dude?
I don't know. All the
didn't she also?
But
have,
she wore a
like,
cat
indigenous
suit.
garb.
She wore a
on
cat
too?
suit. She wore a cat suit with tribal tattoos embedded on it, and so plus like a beaded like headdress. So it paid tribute to like tribal people, but it's like she paid tribute to the tribal people who would never be able to participate in the contest. So there's this weird push pull, right, of what it is, and our people get meaning from it because they see validation in being participatory and winning. But like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like everybody was all hyped about it. And I was just
totally.
like,
I mean, it was like, it was seeing the kind of mashup of all the celebrations was just like, I don't want to say eye opening, but it was like, okay, wow, people love this stuff. And
Like, and it's a little uneasy because it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Her costume, I appreciate the homage to the Philippine culture, but it just looked weird to me.
There
like
was too many mismatch of things.
Like, what is going on?
It was like she was like a billboard of like.
Yeah, and it was like, is this how we're representing for real?
Because it literally, like, first off, she wore a giant parole. Like, that was her big thing in the back.
I haven't even seen it.
You should look it up. She wore a giant parole. And then her cat suit did have like the Wang O type tribal tattooing on it.
That was actually modeled after the pintados of or quote unquote Visayans.
Yeah. And then her headdress looked like the beaded headdress of like the Taboli people or Subanon, the tribal people in the South.
Yeah.
So it's like she's embodying all of these Southern traditions. And then I guess the parole thing is like the Spanish influence. I don't know. I'm just taking my hot take on it.
Yeah.
But it just looked like, all right, you're just going to put all of the Filipino traditions. I like that it was different. Like, it wasn't like a giant butterfly, like Filipiniana,
that's true.
like dress, which she could have easily done.
Yeah.
But Miss Vietnam, though.
But Miss Vietnam's costume was bomb. She wore straight up banh mi's, like it was made out of sandwiches.
Are you serious?
Baskets of sandwiches.
Baskets of sandwiches.
Oh my god!
Can we talk about this? And she was in controversy because Miss USA was making fun of her Vietnamese accent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's
shy.
another thing. I think that was the thing that really pissed me off was Miss Universe USA just being racist. And it's so sad that I'm not surprised.
I am not either.
God, that was, So in a sense, that made me. I'm like, yeah, at least the Philippines won.
Same.
Not that.
But see, the banh mi costume, like for
was so
Vietnam,
cool.
it was cool. But then it's kind of like it's playing to what white people think of what Vietnamese culture is, right?
Do white people think Vietnamese culture is banh mi sandwiches?
Well, then why would they do banh mi? If it was Miss Vietnam,
well,
they
you
wouldn't do
can't
Miss
be like,
banh mi.
what? I mean, how could she be a giant pho?
I will say that it seemed like the feedback from people in Vietnam was like they were glad she didn't just do the traditional like
yeah.
That's true, but
they're like
Definitely
she went
different
somewhere
take.
else and she
It was campy. Oh,
it was. But the thing is, I think it's still based on what the Western world's perception of what Vietnamese
Look at that.
culture is.
I think it's quite imaginative. We're looking at it right
is.
now. And
It's like a
I'm not saying it's not.
yeah, that's
But-
amazing.
We are currently looking at the thing. Oh, it's a
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
It makes you hungry.
I do. I want to go to Lee's Sandwiches right now. Get me a number 4.
That's amazing.
I have a-
wow.
It's actually
I have a
quite
quick
amazing.
question. So,
Yes.
is Miss Universe? It's an American company, right?
I believe so. I think
not
Fox bought it.
Yeah.
It used to be.
Oh
Well,
my
Trump
God.
used
Fox
to own it.
owns it.
or no, Fox.
Surprise, surprise.
Fox has a TV deal. So
has the TV deal. Okay.
I'm not sure exactly who owns it.
So-
but Trump used to own it for a long time.
Yeah.
He owns Miss America, right?
He owns
Yeah,
Miss America.
Miss America.
Yeah.
He owned Miss Universe for a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
damn.
Jesus.
I guess
Surprise,
I was
surprise.
just
Another surprise.
curious to see how it would be different if we already call this kind of like a sport or Olympic sport. Again, I'm focusing more on like this being worldwide, right?
Sure.
Us being in America, I never rooted for Miss USA. Well, maybe once here and there, but usually I root for Miss Philippines, right?
Oh, okay. So William Morris Endeavor owns.
Miss Universe.
That's a company.
Yeah,
or something?
they bought it, I guess, from
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of trying to figure if different countries host it, if the host actually is doing it in their own language. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
That
Like,
would be
Because
interesting.
it was in Thailand and Steve Harvey hosted it.
I understand. That's not. We're talking about like moving forward from something like this, right?
Right.
Like it's like, for example, the Olympics. If it's U.S. hosting the Olympics, then we're gonna put U.S.
Put our
things
hosts,
there.
yeah.
Right.
If the host is Korea, then it's gonna be Korean themed. The language is gonna be everything caters to like English speaking, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why
Right.
I'm like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you're in Thailand and the host is speaking in Thai, and then you know what?
Yeah.
Sorry, Miss America, you're gonna have to listen through a
You're
headset,
gonna need an interpreter.
and you're gonna need an
Exactly.
interpreter. So
But there's still the issue that it's a pageant and it's
Right.
and it's very problematic in general.
right, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that part.
Death to all pageants. I'm just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. Don't kill me.
All right.
So, how many of you guys have worn crowns in a pageant?
Sorry.
What? You didn't listen to
Okay,
me?
fine. I'll
Girlie, raise
I'll
your
tell
hand.
the story. So when I
This
was in
is
the
by the way, this is new to me.
God,
Does it make you
stare
love
at
her
these
even more?
pictures all the time at my parents' house. So before my mother and I came to the U.S., there was some sort of festival or something that she put me in, and so of course there had to be some sort of king and queen and whatnot. I think it was like some town festival, and like the families whose children were in the pageant had to go and sell tickets because they were also raising money for, I think, the church or some organization in the town. And so the person who sold the most tickets was the queen. So that was me. And my cousin was my escort. And so I can't believe you don't even there are pictures of me and my cousin in these outfits.
And I never questioned it. So
That's your
in the
regular
Philippines.
regular Filipino garb.
There's another day in the market to buy a sash and a crown.
there's too much stuff already in your mom's
Oh
house
my
that
God,
like
I know.
I
Stop
don't really
it.
notice these things.
Stop it. So I was crowned and there are all sorts of pictures. I barely remember it, but I do remember wearing that dress.
Nice. Catriona Gray must have sold a lot of tickets.
She sold millions upon millions of tickets.
Yeah, but that's how when I was growing up, I remember being in high school and we went over a friend's house and his sister was in a, some kind of Philippine association.
Yeah, that's how it
Right.
works.
Pageant,
That's
right?
how it works.
And
That's
then
how it
I was
works.
like, okay, how does that go? Because my parents weren't into that, thank God. But and there were the stacks of the raffle tickets,
Yep.
and,
Yeah.
and then my friend was like, oh, she just has to sell all the tickets, and then she wins. And my parents will probably just buy them all anyway, or something like that.
That was the thing
was
my
like,
uncle tried to get
gosh, that's so
me to
much.
do.
Yeah.
My uncle tried to was like, hey, sell these tickets. And my dad was like, nah, because they're going to steal all that money anyway. So don't even bother.
We should just rename all those pageants ticket selling pageants instead of
Fundraisers.
Beauty
See,
pageants.
and it's also, but it's like the product that you're putting out there is like beauty,
Right.
on
That's
and
why now
just
it's
sad.
marketing.
I mean that's the contradiction, right?
It's totally
that's the
yeah.
conundrum. It's definitely problematic, selling beauty, but it's so ingrained and it's so laced with a bunch of power dynamics that it's difficult to stop.
Yeah.
This makes me, it is kind of very tangential, but the movie Roma has been talked about as an Oscar contender. And it is a Spanish language film made in Mexico. And the lead actress is Mixtec. She's not light skinned. I think she's relatively short, but dark skinned. And she speaks both Mixtec and, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Spanish. And she was recently on the cover of Vogue. And so all the conversation on social media was about how, this woman who is dark skinned, not your traditional image of even Spanish beauty, was on this, this beauty magazine. And I wonder if if the Philippines will ever get to that point where they are able to celebrate more different images of beauty versus the ones that we are seeing now.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there's what is that one with the Moreno something that they're trying to push?
Maganda Morena,
something like that. Yeah. They're trying to push dark skin.
Yeah,
Pinay's out there.
It's on Instagram. It's a campaign by what's her name? She's tagged us. What's her name? Brown Girl _green.
Yeah.
She's trying to push a campaign for like dark skinned girls to embrace their
that's great.
their morena-ness.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. I think that's important. But I also think like you also have to address like economic needs.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can't just be certainly just cultural and that's it.
At least I think that's who started it. I'm gonna feel bad if that's not the person who started it. Let me.
Okay. So, anyways, that was Miss Universe. That was so 2018. We're all
2018,
that's so Raven.
we're totally
we're
2019. Yeah.
I like your joke, Mike. I don't think everybody got it.
I got it.
I
That's
know.
so Raven.
I got it.
Because I'm singing it now in my head.
That's so Raven. I don't know if that's right.
Any other thoughts?
Well, let's give an intention for 2019, everybody.
To win a beauty pageant.
To sell the most tickets.
Sell those
Please,
tickets.
let me have family to buy tickets.
Miss TFAL in vicinity.
Oh my
That's Elaine.
God.
I think 2019 we're gonna have a TFAL pageant.
I think we should do
Maybe
that.
we should flip the pageant.
Yeah, flip the pageant.
Like
Miss
how much
TFAL
money can you raise
and
for important causes?
like TFAL.
Ryan will wear a sash and nothing else.
Oh, wait, I don't know.
No,
about
you
that
need
one.
to
And you have to
wear.
pay us to make him wear clothes.
You need
There you
to-
go. That's how we
You
fundraise.
need to wear a bowl of pancit palabok like Miss Vietnam did the banh mi.
All right.
Who wears our food best?
Oh my God, I like this idea. But that's the group's intention for 2019. My intention for 2019 is that I would like to hope that we get to do a live show and do this in front of a studio audience.
Oh, a live
Yeah.
show. Kala ko a live, like dead show. But he's already alive.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm gonna skip Ryan. Joe, what's your intention for 2019?
We double our audience.
Sweet.
Yes.
Goodness.
Very good. Very specific.
Ah.
Mike?
Triple. Say triple, Mike.
We double plus one.
That's-
Price is Right style.
$1.
Winner.
Ryan?
I would like us to continue our growth into the homes and cars of people who listen to us, but also maybe explore different avenues, whether it be through social media or video, or using our platform for better message to all our
Awesome.
listeners, especially those in Canada.
Kat?
Speaking of Canada, that would be my intention for 2019 to take a little trip to our friends up north.
Oh.
Calabasas? Calabasas?
More north, dude. More north.
Calabasas is south. Thank you.
is it?
I would love to go
Oxnard?
to Toronto.
Oh, we should do an Oxnard episode. That's what you're saying.
Are you
Love
saying you want to go to
Toronto.
Fresno?
No.
Can I go?
You know what?
Samako.
I will go by myself. I will go to Toronto.
So Canada trip.
I have family in Calgary. I'm sure they'd love to have it.
Yeah.
And they're super, super, super nice. Shout out to my Calgary family.
Yeah.
And Kat, what do you have an intention for 2019?
My intention for TFAL in 2019 is I'll double your live show. I think we can do something fun with that.
Oh, okay.
And then I can help you.
Yay.
Put it on.
Listeners, what are your intentions for 2019? Give us a call, 805-394-TFAL. That is that number again. Ryan.
This is what Elaine said.
805. 394.
394. TFAL.
Yes.
Yay, you got the last four.
I did.
Thank God.
Thank you. I hope you all had a great new year. I hope you are KonMariing your lives and cleaning and all those things.
real.
And
She's got her own show, Marie Kondo.
I know. Watch it on Netflix. And if you are a well-moneyed person and would like to sponsor TFAL, I mean, help us out with our 2019 goals.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know,
Calgary, here we come.
we can go to Calgary, I guess. But yeah,
Filipino Canadian Life.
we could do that
Franchise.
show. And Eric Bauza can come back since he's Canadian. But can you indulge me just 1 second? Because this is the New
Filipino
Year's
North
show.
American.
Can we pretend that it's the ball is dropping? We're all wearing polka dot. And we have shoved 13 circle fruits in our mouths.
Is it 13?
13?
12.
13?
I don't know. I'd always do
12
13.
plus one
12
more
plus
to
1.
Is that why we eat grapes?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you just realize that right now?
Yeah.
You're gonna jump at midnight.
And you
I thought it was
with
like
all the
magic
change in
grapes,
your
like
pocket.
make
No,
your
and
year,
we're all
like,
jumping.
full or
It's all
something.
good luck.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy TFAL!
Happy December 22nd.
This Filipino American Life is produced by Michael Nailat. Our intro and outro music is by Roger Habon, aka 10.4 Raj. Resident reality checker Gerlie Collado, legal advisor Rianne Fajardo, and graphic design by Vincent Collyer.